Hello everyone, and welcome to a new reading vlog where I am trying to break out of my book slump. I have been in a book slump for about a couple of weeks now, and I have just been starting books and never finishing them. So this reading vlog, I thought it would be nice to finish all my current reads or books that I have started briefly and put down, to get the satisfaction of being able to say that I've finished these books. So the first book that I am so close to finishing, I have 30 minutes left in the audiobook, is Book Lovers by Emily Henry. And guys, I have to be honest, I am not enjoying this book whatsoever. I previously really enjoyed Happy Place, which I have an entire reading vlog about, and I thought that I would really enjoy Book Lovers, so I decided to start it afterwards. And it was a very slow start, to the point where I felt myself getting into a book slump and actively avoiding picking up this book because I just could not get into it. So I decided to listen to it on audiobook, and the audiobook is completely fine. The narrator is doing the job that she has to do, but I am not enjoying this story whatsoever. It is a story about a woman named Nora who is going to, I think, South Carolina with her sister on a month-long vacation because apparently everyone has the ability to take a month off of work, and she is there to reconnect with her sister, and she is a literary agent. And while staying in this tiny town, she comes across her nemesis, who is a book editor who turned down the book that she was trying to pitch to him. And they have this forced tension between one another where they don't like each other, but they have somewhat the same personality, where they're both stuck up and very posh, and they don't really connect with others easily. And this book just does not click with me because I can tell that Emily Henry is trying to write a character that is very different from her other characters. She's trying to do something a little bit different, but to be in the mind of a character who is stuck up, who is this workaholic, who doesn't really connect with others, isn't the most pleasant place to be in. And I'm not really rooting for either of the characters because I'm not invested in their story, and I'm not invested in the story overall. So it's just a book that I'm personally not connecting with. I know a lot of other people really enjoy it, but I have been slogging through this audiobook and I'm desperate to finish it. So I'm going to clean up my room and listen to the last 30 minutes of Book Lovers so I can finally be free of it, because I need that satisfaction of saying that I not only finished this book, but finished a book, because I, again, am in a really big book slump. This is the first book on my list of books to finish because I need this out of my life. I'm really not enjoying it, and I haven't been able to truly describe why I don't enjoy it. It just feels so deeply unnatural to be in this character's mind. She just feels like a very forced character, and I don't know how to describe that in a way that feels coherent. You either get it or you don't. That's the best way I can say it. We did it. I finished Book Lovers, and I feel free of that book. I just was not enamored by it, and it's really sad because I had that whole reading vlog about Happy Place, and I was like, maybe I do love Emily Henry, but I'm starting to wonder if she's like a one-hit author for me, where I really enjoyed Happy Place, deeply disliked Beach Read, and then didn't like Book Lovers. I think so far my ranking is Happy Place, Book Lovers, and Beach Read, but comparing Book Lovers and Beach Read to Happy Place is somewhat of an insult because I really did not enjoy those two novels. And I don't really want to harp on why I didn't enjoy Book Lovers, but I just wanted to say I finished it. I'm so glad I'm done with that audiobook, and I can finally move on to other audiobooks and other books that I will most definitely enjoy. I should have DNF'd it, but I really wanted to get through it to, again, give myself the satisfaction that I finished a book. So the next thing that I want to read and hopefully finish is my Loki run. I am currently reading Loki, Agent of Asgard. And I kind of found these different Loki runs on Reddit where I searched up the best Loki runs to read because the Loki show is back and I'm deeply excited about it. Loki's one of my favorite characters in the MCU, and I wanted to finally get into his comics. So Reddit gave me a list of a bunch of different runs that I should try. I think I've read one so far. It was Kid Loki with the Young Avengers, and I really did enjoy that run. Loki is going in a very different direction than I thought he would in the show, and people on TikTok were saying that the run that I'm currently reading is the perfect one to read if you want to learn more about the direction that he's possibly going into. I don't want to get into spoilers or anything, but he's going in a very interesting direction, so I'm so excited to have that knowledge in mind and continue reading this Loki run because I'm just really excited to read another Loki comic. I want to learn more about him, his personalities, his hijinks, his story in the Marvel universe. And yeah, I'm just really excited to dive into another Loki comic and see what he's going to get up to, especially with the knowledge that that is kind of the inspiration for Loki in the MCU currently. You're probably like, is this the same exact day? No, it's not. It's in fact the next day, but I'm still wearing the same outfit because why not repeat an outfit? I am on episode 3 or 4 of the Loki run, and I think it has like 15 or 16 episodes in total for the entire thing. So today I don't have a lot of work to do, so I'm going to grab my lunch and read more of my Loki run, and I'm really excited. It's hit a little bit of a lull because we are following old Loki, who is featured in the Loki show, but we're also following this new Loki who is trying to change his whole entire story. So it's pretty interesting. I want to know what's going to happen next. I'm so invested. So I finally finished the Loki comics and I had a great time with it. There were 17 episodes. I'm not really sure the term for it overall, and I read a lot of it in one sitting, and it was just such a great run that looked at who Loki is as a god, how he thinks he can never change, but over time in this run he comes to terms that he can change and can change for the better. And it feels very much like Loki in the show, where he is grappling with his morals, his past actions, and his label as a villain, and how he feels constrained by it and he feels like he can be nothing other than evil. But over time we see him become a friend and a hero and something other than the Loki that we initially thought he would be throughout the entirety of the MCU. And that's what this comic run basically focused on. And it kind of made me emotional because I'm so deeply connected to Loki. I love him, and he is just constantly going through strife and difficulties, and it never seems like he can win. But this comic run felt like a win for him because he saw who he was as a person and as a god, and he said, I don't have to be that anymore. I can be something greater than that. And it was such a beautiful character progression. It was such beautiful development within his own morals, and I was just rooting for him the entire time. And if you're a big fan of Loki in the MCU and you want to learn a little bit more about him and the journey that he's currently going on, I think this run definitely is worth your time. And it has so many different cameos with so many different villains villains that we haven't seen in the MCU. So seeing their moments in this run was really interesting, and I just had a great time overall. So now that I finished that run, which took me a long time to finish because there were so many different episodes in it, I can finally move on to another current read of mine that I'm hoping to finish by the end of this reading vlog, where I am breaking out of my book slump and I'm cleaning up my current reads by finally finishing them. And I'm going to read Done and Dusted by Lyla Sage. This was given to me by the publisher, so thank you so much to them. And this is a cowboy romance about a girl who returns back to her family ranch after having an accident on her horse where she no longer feels confident horseback riding, and she feels like her whole entire career is up in flames because of this accident and her newfound fear of horseback riding. And while she is back on her family ranch, she comes across her brother's best friend who sees her in a new light now that she is older, and he's very much interested in her. They butt heads with each other, but they can't deny their attraction for one another. And this book was the book that inspired me to do this entire video, because this was the book that really captured my attention, and I read 91 pages in one sitting without any effort or any time spent looking at my phone. And this is the type of book that I knew would break me out of my book slump, because romance books always seem to capture my attention because there's not a lot of world building, there's not a lot of high stakes scenarios, there's not a lot that you have to really learn and pay attention to. It's usually just two characters falling in love, witty banter, beautiful descriptions, and that's what this book is. It's giving me the cowboy energy that I have been searching for, because I have been in my cowboy era for like the entirety of 2023. So I am really enjoying this so far. I'm really enjoying Emmy and Luke because they have this tension where they have known each other for so many years because they grew up alongside each other, but now they see each other in a new light, and they feel this forbidden energy because that's her brother's best friend. She can't fall in love with him, and he sees her as this girl that he grew up with, who he was always taking care of, but now he wants to take care of her in a different light, and he is helping her get over her fear of horseback riding and even getting on a horse. And it's a really cute romance so far. I'm really enjoying it. So I do want to sit down and read this after work, and I'm also going to head to IKEA because I want to get a rug for my room, because the chair that I'm currently on is kind of wasting away the floor of my room, and I don't want it to get any more damage. Even though I'm a big rug hater, like I do not like rugs at all. I think they're kind of gross. But if it's just under my desk, it won't be as gross because I'm not walking over it as much. It's mostly to protect the floor of my desk space. So I will let you know if I find a rug. Hopefully I do. Hopefully I'm not too picky, because recently I was searching for lamps and it made me realize that I'm a really picky decorator when it comes to finding something to buy for my space. I just find myself being really picky about the aesthetic, the quality of it, and I spent maybe like a month trying to find a singular lamp. So I'm kind of being realistic with myself. I don't feel like I'm going to find a rug, but we have IKEA, we have Target, and we even have TJ Maxx that I can go to try and find a rug. But I'm hoping and praying that going to IKEA will be the one and done business that I need to get a rug for my room. So I didn't find a rug. Are we surprised? I was too picky. I went to IKEA and Target and I could not find a rug that I enjoyed, but I did look up online brown rugs to find the design that I enjoy, and I think I did find one. So I will show it in a future vlog once it finally comes in and once I decide on the design I enjoy the most. But yeah, I'm really not surprised that I did not find a rug because I'm so picky when it comes to decor. There's just a really specific vision that I have in my mind, and I can step into a store and quickly scan it and be like, none of this matches my vision. But now I'm going to read Done and Dusted. I'm going to put on some comfy clothes. I'm going to probably make some tea and just relax and read, because this work week has been stressful. Tomorrow's gonna be even more stressful, and I just need to wind down and read a really cute cowboy romance to get me into a happy mood so I can survive tomorrow. And then I have Friday off, which I'm probably going to spend reading in a cafe and just enjoying my time off. And I'm very excited for that because I'll probably be able to finish Done and Dusted by then, which will be great. I also forgot to tell you about my current audiobook that I'm listening to, which is the Gardner Heist. It is a nonfiction by Ulrich Boser, and this is centered around the Isabella Stewart Gardner art heist that happened, that is the biggest art heist in the world. And I actually went to the museum in a previous vlog and was able to see the frames of the missing art that has been stolen and hasn't been found since the heist happened. And it's estimated that the loss is over $500 million. And I'm listening to this audiobook because that moment in time is fresh in my mind, and I want to learn more about the heist because I thought it was interesting that none of the workers in the museum mentioned the heist. And in the nonfiction, I also found out that the people who work in the museum aren't allowed to mention the heist. So I'm learning more about it, and I'm also learning about other heists that have happened and how they're usually inside jobs, they're used for insurance, or it's just people who were very lucky in getting away with these art heists. And it's just something that I find so fascinating because one of my favorite tropes in a movie is a heist. I love watching heist movies. I can never get tired of them because they're so intricate and really interesting. So learning more about the biggest art heist in the world is really up my alley, and I'm learning a lot more about the heist. And I actually first learned about it from BuzzFeed Unsolved when Shane and Ryan discussed this entire heist and their theories about it. So throughout this week, I've been listening to that audiobook. I'm 39% through it now, and I have 5 hours left, so I do think I can finish it by Friday. But I am also currently going to be reading Done and Dusted, and I'm very excited about it. I feel like I'm truly breaking out of my book slump because I am busying myself with so many different reads of so many different genres, and I think that mental stimulation was really what I needed to kind of get out of this book slump. And I'm really excited about it. I'm really excited with all these current reads. They've all been really fascinating and interesting in their different ways. So today is Friday and it's my day off of work. So my mom and I went to the cafe where I was able to read and work on my iPad for a bit. So right now I'm going to clean my room because it's a little bit messy and there's a pile of clothes everywhere, and then I'm going to go back downstairs to read even more. As for my current reads, I am 150 pages into Done and Dusted, so I don't think I'm going to finish it today because I do want to wrap up this vlog today so I can start editing it for this Sunday. And I am 50% through the Gardner Heist nonfiction, so I also don't think I'm going to finish that book as well for the end of this vlog, but I'm enjoying both of the stories and I think they're both really interesting in their own way. I'm enjoying the cowboy romance and I'm also listening to Western ambiance while I'm reading the book, which really adds to the whole entire story and makes me enjoy it even more. And the Gardner Heist nonfiction is also really interesting, learning not only about the Gardner Heist but other heists as well that are unsolved that the FBI is still investigating. So while I won't finish those two books, know that I'm enjoying both of them and I cannot wait to finish them, and they are successfully bringing me out of my book slump because these are two things that I'm equally interested in and I find them really easy to both listen to and read, which is exactly what I wanted out of this reading vlog. I wanted to break out of my book slump, I wanted to have a good time with these books, and I think these two books were the perfect reads to get me out of this slump that I was in for most of October. I only read 5 pages, guys, since I last spoke to you, which was like 2 hours ago. I think I'm just a little bit too sleepy today to really get into my book, but I wanted to end off this vlog by saying I'm really enjoying this romance. I would say around 1/3 of the way through, and it is fantastic. It's really holding my attention. There's ADHD representation in this novel, and I'm slowly but surely exploring that as I get deeper into the story, and I just love their chemistry. I really do love the brother's best friend trope, and I don't see it often in the romances I pick up, so I'm really glad I was able to dive into a romance with that trope, and I can't wait to get further into it. So do expect a full review of this novel in a future Books and Brews episode. episode because I am really enjoying it and I don't think I would end up hating it by the end of the book. So I'll let you know my full thoughts about it once I finally finish the book. And I also wanted to say, because the SAG-AFTRA strike is over, I can finally talk about the fact that I have been watching Loki and it ended yesterday. The entire series ended and it was absolutely fantastic, and the run that I read in this vlog correlated directly with the show in a way that was just so satisfying to watch, because I've only gotten into comics within the last year, so I've never been one to know about the comic lore when watching an MCU movie or show. So having that background knowledge from the Loki Agent of Asgard run was so interesting, and it was so deeply satisfying to see direct references to that run that I just read in the show, and the show overall was absolutely fantastic. It's one of my favorite things to come out of Marvel Studios because Loki's my favorite character in the MCU, and his journey is also incredibly satisfying. His character arc is phenomenal. From being a villain to an anti-hero to a hero is just absolutely fantastic. I don't want to get too deep into my thoughts about Loki because I do want to share my favorite shows of 2023, which you can expect in December, because I do want to discuss these shows that I wasn't able to speak about during the SAG-AFTRA strike. But just know that I loved the Loki show and I'm so happy I read that run this week because it correlated so beautifully with the end of the Loki show, and it ended in such a wonderful way that both crushes you because you know you're not going to see Loki for years upon years because Marvel's slowing down with their projects, but you also know that Loki is in this position now where he got everything he wanted, but at what cost? There's so many different ways to break down the Loki show, and I will love to discuss in the comments if you have any particular feelings or even comic runs that you would recommend I read to get further into Loki's lore. I love the Loki show. I can't wait to discuss it more in a future video. And yeah, that is the end of this vlog where I'm trying to break out of a book slump. I think I successfully did because I'm really excited about the books that I'm currently reading. Even though I didn't finish them in this vlog, I'm really happy with the progress that I made and how much I read this week. So if you want to follow me anywhere else on social media to get updates from me that you won't see here, all my links are down below, and I will see you around very soon. Bye!